Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, I'm Jennifer. I make new videos every single Monday and Friday, so I would love for you to hit that little subscribe button down below, and all that does is let you be notified whenever I upload a new video. I hope this video will help you guys out with your planning, and yeah, let's go ahead and get on into the video. So the first thing about Iceland is getting there, and you're going to be arriving in KEF-Blue International Airport. It's the only international airport in Iceland, so you can't fly directly to Reykjavik. It's 45 minutes to an hour southwest of Reykjavik, and you can either get there from a rental car, a taxi, or a bus. So there's 3 different seasons that you can travel to Iceland: the high season, the low season, and the shoulder season.
The most popular time of year is called the high season, and that's from June to August, so expect lots of crowds, high prices, and book early. You're going to be seeing endless sunlight and not a lot of nighttime, so it's prime time for festivals and activities, but not a lot of time for the northern lights. You can also go during the low season, which is from October to April, but expect some roads to be closed because of all the snow in the north. There's not going to be a lot of sunlight, but that's okay, because it makes it perfect weather to see the northern lights. Also, a big thing is winter activities like skiing and visiting the ice caves. And then there's the shoulder season, which is from May to September. The weather's a little crazy, so expect heavy winds. There's not going to be a lot of crowds, which is good because it makes the prices a lot lower. There's a mixture of sunlight and night, so there's a possibility of seeing the northern lights depending on which month you actually go.
So once you land in KEF-Blue Airport, you gotta get to the city or wherever you're planning to go. So you can either get around using a rental car, a taxi, or a bus. And I recommend using a bus just because it is cheaper. The buses run every single hour, so you're not going to miss it. And the bus ride alone is about 45 minutes to an hour, which is average. Like, they're not like super slow buses. There's not a lot of stops between KEF-Blue and Reykjavik, so it's just like a straight shot. So I booked everything prior to arriving, including the bus ticket. I went on to reykjavikexcursion.is. I will leave the link down below, and I chose the one that goes from KEF-Blue to Blue Lagoon to Reykjavik, and you can either get one that is just a bus, you can get one that includes admission to the Blue Lagoon, or you can also include bus tickets to see the northern lights. So there's a lot of different options. You can rent a car. If you plan on renting a car while you're there, just a rental car and not a camper van, because I will get to that in a moment. I do recommend getting just a 2-wheel drive. They are typically cheaper than a 4-wheel drive, unless you plan on going into the Highlands or the West Fjords, or if you're going like the dead of winter and you're going on the ring road, you probably need it because there's gonna be a lot of snow. But I definitely recommend just getting a 2-wheel drive. I managed to get around the entire ring road in May perfectly fine, and we took it even on like dirt roads and everything. There was no problem at all. You can hitchhike, which Iceland is extremely safe. My husband is in the military, and when you're in the military and you have to travel internationally, you have to do like an entire memorandum. You have to do like all these like online tests and so much work and paperwork, and it was so easy for him to get Iceland because it is like there's no crime. There's also a less popular way but extremely cheap way of getting around Iceland, and that is by bicycle. Read in a book and I like, no one's gonna ride a bike around the country. That's cold, it's windy, like how would you get around? But I actually saw a lot of bicyclists around the ring road up in the north, and it was like you gotta clap for them. You gotta like give them a thumbs up. You gotta woohoo them when you go by, because that's tough. That is 16 hours of driving. Can you imagine how long that's gonna take on a bike? But also just keep in mind, if you are planning to take a bike, the weather changes drastically. One moment it could be like sunny and calm winds, and the next it could be like a freaking storm, depending on what time of year you're going. But Iceland is so windy. Like, it's not even that cold in the springtime, but once you get into the wind, you're freezing, you're frozen. It's very strong winds as well. So keep that in mind if you plan on taking a bike. Another way of getting around Iceland is my favorite and most recommended is using a camper van. There are so many places that you can get a camper van, from Happy Campers to Go Campers to whatever. There's so many different sites. I will list a link I will have a list of links down below, and I used Go Campers, which I highly recommend, and it was so convenient, it was so simple, it was so much cheaper. If you're planning a long trip in Iceland, it's gonna get expensive, especially if you get a car, if you get hotels every night, if you get food every night, or like eat out every night. It's gonna be very expensive by the time you leave. So a very good way of saving money is getting a camper van. And it's very, very convenient because you're driving and where you're gonna be spending the night. And Iceland is not very strict when it comes to where you're sleeping. So unless you park in front of a sign that says do not park here, no one's gonna bother you. So you can literally park on the side of the road. You can literally park in front of a waterfall. You can literally park at a glacier, which we've done. And it is so nice to be able to find a secluded area for you to just camp and make your meals, because they actually come in the back of, at least the Go Campers, they came with all the utensils and like a little Bunsen burner and plates. So you can go to the grocery store and get some food, just like simple things like cup of noodles or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, cereal, bananas, and you're gonna be saving so much money that way. So I definitely recommend it, and it's also very gas efficient. It's not even that bad considering we left the car running at night so we wouldn't freeze to death. Because there is a downside, it is absolutely freezing. At least our van from Go Campers didn't have insulation on the inside, so it was like just bare metal. So if you roll over in your sleeping bag, which you can rent through the website, you're just gonna be touching cold ass metal, and it is just not a pleasant way to sleep. As for things to pack, I did make an entire video of what I brought with me on a 12-day trip. My husband and I traveled together, and each of us carried a carry-on duffel bag, not even a suitcase, but a duffel bag, and they're just typically smaller than a suitcase, so we traveled very, very light. So if you want to check that video out, I will leave a link down in this corner or this corner, the little eye that like shows up. Yeah, click on that if you are interested in seeing what I packed. This is the Lonely Planet Iceland travel book, and it is seriously so good. I have not read a travel book as good as this one. It has so much information. It has like planned itineraries, it has directions. As you're going around the ring road, it's all the signs are in order, so it's very easily to get around just using this. And if you're going past a sign, like a road sign that says exit 31, it's gonna tell you in the book what's down that road. Not necessarily there's gonna be signs, and even if there are signs, you're not necessarily gonna know what they are, because Icelandic language is hard. The good thing about Iceland and cash and credit cards is pretty much everyone takes credit cards. I only had to use cash one time specifically, right in a small town where I don't even remember. It's like in the north near Seyðisfjörður. Sorry if I say that wrong. And some guy's like little house that he made handmade crafts, and it was his own business. It was like his hobby that he was like working out of his house. So yeah, that's kind of understandable that he wants cash instead of like a credit card. If you are just going around the ring road, or if you're going around the Golden Circle, or if you're just gonna be in Reykjavik for a few days as a layover, you're not gonna have any problems, and you're not gonna have to require to carry any cash, which is really nice because the exchange rate is a little confusing. The people in Iceland are incredibly friendly. I did not meet one rude, arrogant, sarcastic person my entire time there. Everyone was so friendly. They were so understanding that you're a tourist and you're lost. If you go to a restaurant and you want to try a local dish, and you ask their opinion, they're just so friendly. Language was no problem at all. I didn't have any problem with anyone the entire time I was there. Pretty much everyone spoke English, and if they didn't speak it fluently, they spoke it enough for where you can like have a conversation, or if you can buy something, or you can order something. It was very simple and not a big deal at all. Always do your own research depending on which country you're flying from, but I was flying from the US and I did not have to get a visa at all, and I did have to go through customs and sign some paperwork like that, but as per getting something in advance before arriving, you don't have to. That includes also all the European countries. You can actually stay there for 3 months for every 6-month period without a visa. So you may not need a visa depending on where you're coming from, but you do need a passport. That's pretty standard, it's pretty obvious, so make sure to have a valid passport when traveling. So as for things to eat, I love food, my husband loves food, and when we go to a new country, we always want to try like the local dishes. So I highly recommend the hot dogs. And you're probably thinking, really? Hot dogs? That's what you're recommending? But yes, I have cravings for Icelandic hot dogs pretty much every single week, at least once. And it's crunchy, I don't know, it's something different. It is like no hot dog I have ever had before. But also, puffin, shark, linguistine, which is the Icelandic kind of like lobster bisque soup, and horse. I can't do that. Horse. I rode Icelandic horses and I sadly ate an Icelandic horse. So I have so many amazing memories in Iceland and so many beautiful things that I went to go see and go do. So here are some of my top favorite picks of what to see and things to do in Iceland. So for a final tip, if you are traveling to Iceland, I highly recommend taking your time. I took 12 days to do the entire Ring Road and Golden Circle, and it was the perfect amount of time. We didn't feel rushed, we didn't miss out on anything. We did not get to go to the West Fjords or Highlands just because we didn't have a 4-wheel drive, but we plan on going there again anyway, so it's okay. It's just another reason to go back to Iceland. But definitely take your time. Don't try to do the Ring Road in like 4 days. You're gonna miss out on everything. Try to focus on just the areas that you know that you can get to and soak it in, because there are seriously like pit stops of beautiful things like every couple of minutes. So take your time and enjoy it. So that is all I have to say about how to travel in Iceland. If you are planning a trip, I am very jealous of you. I wish I could live there. Seriously, you're not gonna wanna come back. But I hope this video helped you, informed you of whatever it is you needed to be informed of. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. I am uploading every Monday an Iceland series. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!